Can you solve all these Class 10 Science Chapter 3 metals and non-metals questions? Metalloids are. You got it. Semiconductors fits.
Hardest non-metal?
On track. Diamond is correct.
What is an alloy?
Correct response. A homogeneous mixture is accurate.
Pure gold is off.
Strong choice. 24 carats is right.
The name for cran?
You're right. Chromium nitride is correct. Most ductile metal. Great thinking. Gold is right.
Metals have a high.
Nice work. Density fits perfectly. Metallic oxides are.
Well picked. Basic in nature is correct.
Ionic compound have.
Bravo. Both A and D is the answer.
Who loses electrons?
Smart pick. Metals is correct. Refining means dash. Right again. Purifying is valid. Copper oxide is.
Well done. Black in color is right.
Lead and mercury are.
You chose poor conductors of heat. Correct.
Brass is a mixture of. Exactly. Copper and zinc make sense.
Calamine is an ore of. Perfect. Zn is the one.
Solder is an alloy of. Solid response. None of these is valid. Amphoteric oxide shows.
Excellent. Both A and B is well reasoned.
Good conductor of heat. Sharp thinking. Metal is right. Non-metal that is shiny. Clear logic. Iodine is sound. Symbol of tungsten dash. Nicely done. W is solid. Electropositive elements. Correct. Metals is spot on. Electronegative elements. Excellent choice. Non-metals is right. Chemical symbol for gold. Right choice. O is best. Have a high melting point. Good thinking. Metals is right.
What is non-metal in them? Valid point. Santal is true.
Two types of noble metals.
Great job. Gold and platinum is accurate.
The most interacted metal. Smart move. Potassium is accurate answer. Steel is an example of an. Nice selection. Alloy is correct.
Electropositivity is the.
Good job. Tendency to lose electrons works well. Anodizing whom belong to.
Well reasoned. Aluminum is correct.
Which has a higher density?
Well picked. Metal is correct.
The best malleable metal is. Good job. Gold works well. Which three metals are magnetic? Great thinking. Iron, nickel and cobalt is right. The chemical symbol for iron. On track. Fe is correct.
Corrosion of metals involves.
Well done. Chemical reactions is right. The lowest interaction metal. You got it. Sleep fits. Able to be drawn into wire is. Correct. Dukes is spot on.
Which is an amphoteric oxide?
Right again. Zinc oxide is valid.
Iron rust in the presence of. Clear logic. Moisture and oxygen is sound. Select the correct statement. Perfect. All ores are minerals is the one. Which metal is more reactive? Solid response. Calcium is valid. Metal used in galvanization is. Correct response. Zinc is accurate. Metals react with water to give. You chose bases. Correct. Identify the lustrous non-metal. Excellent. Iodine is well reasoned. Zinc plus hydrochloric acid dash. Smart move. Zinc chloride plus hydrogen is accurate answer. Which metal is found in plants? You're right. Mg is correct. Metal liquid at room temperature. Well reasoned. Mercury is correct. Ionic compounds are insoluble in. Smart pick. Petrol is correct. Name the metal which is brittle. Great job. Zinc is accurate. Being made of bells made of metal. Nicely done. Eve is solid. A metal which occur in free state. Strong choice. Gold is right. Feature of making wire from metal. Sharp thinking. Wire is right. Metals react with oxygen to form. Good thinking. Basic oxides is right. What two conditions make iron rust? Valid point. Water and air is true. What is not a property of a metal? Nice selection. Low melting point is correct. Metals combine with oxygen to give. Excellent choice. Basic oxide is right. Name the non-metal which is liquid. Bravo. Bromine is the answer. Type of element is a semiconductor. Nice work. Metalloid fits perfectly. Of these, the least dense metal is. Exactly. Now makes sense. Calling the metal to a thin sheets. Right choice. Foil is best. Of these, the most ductile metal is. Good job. All works well. Which of these is a hard non-metal? Great thinking. Diamond is right. Dash are used in matchsticks' heads. Valid point. Phosphorus and sulfur is true. Sulfur reacts with oxygen to form. Great job. Sulfur dioxide is accurate. At room temperature, metals are dash. Well reasoned. Solid is correct. Which of the following is a pungent? Well done. Sulfur dioxide is right. Which is the most reactive non-metal? Bravo. Fluorine is the answer. Which metal room temperature is left? Solid response. Mercury is valid. Argon is a dash at room temperature. Excellent choice. Gas is right. Metals are dash at room temperature. Correct. Solid is spot on. The nature of non-metallic oxides is.
You chose acidic. Correct.
Examples of metal below the following.
Good thinking. High insertion of all is right.
The examples of amphoteric oxides are
Excellent. Zinc and aluminum is well reasoned.
metals that can be cut with the knife. Well picked, sodium. Potassium is correct. Which is the hardest substance known? You're right. Diamond is correct. All metals make by acting with oxygen. Correct response. Metal oxide is accurate. The metal which can be cut with knife. On track. Sodium is correct. What temperature does mercury melt at? Clear logic. Room temperature is sound. What is just so typical of non-metals? Nicely done. Form acidic oxides is solid. Metals react with acids to give rise to. Right again. Salt and hydrogen is valid. Which of these is a property of metals? You got it. It's malleable fits. Dash is used in vulcanization of rubber. Perfect. Sulfur is the one. Which metals are the lowest point Asho? Exactly. Gallium and cesium make sense. Oxides of non-metals are dash in nature. Nice work. Acidic fits perfectly. Easily breaks into pieces when it falls. Sharp thinking. Brittle is right. Name the metal which is in liquid state. Smart pick. Mercury is correct. Which metal is used in making big ships? Strong choice. Iron is right. Which of these elements are a non-metal? Nice selection. Oxygen is correct. Hardest non-metal among the following is? Right choice. Diamond is best. Most metals are solid at room temperature. Smart move. True is accurate answer. The non-metal which is stored in water is? You got it. Phosphorus fits. A mixture of different metals is known as? Smart move. Alloy is accurate answer. Able to be beaten or hammered into shapes. Perfect. Malleable is the one. What are the constituents of solder alloy? Excellent choice. Lead and tin is right. Smooth metals with low melting points dash. Correct response. All these is accurate. Which metal is the poor conductor of heat? Clear logic. Mercury is sound. The shine on metal when light falls on it. Bravo. Luster is the answer. Which among these is a non-sonorous metal? You're right. Sodium is correct. Choose the one that is a chemical property. On track. Reactivity with water is correct. The solution of ash of magnesium ribbon is? You chose basic, correct? During andesation, oxygen gas is evolved at? Great thinking. Anode is right. The list which contains only metals is dash. Well picked. Iron, silver, aluminium is correct. Which of the following is a metallic oxide? Great job. Iron oxide is accurate. Non-metal used in water purification process? Good thinking. Chlorine is right. Name the metals which are stored in kerosene. Smart pick. Sodium and potassium is correct. Which of these metals has low melting point? Exactly. Gallium makes sense. The poorest conductor of heat among metals is.
Nice work. Lid fits perfectly. Which type of elements touch the zigzag line?
Correct. Metalloids is spot on. Which non-metal is essential for respiration?
Well done. Oxygen is right.
Which of the following non-metal is lustrous?
Good job. Iodine works well. A non-metal used to preserve food material is.
Solid response.
Nitrogen is valid. Non-metals generally have boiling points.
Sharp thinking. Low is right.
The metal which is the best conductor of heat.
Well reasoned. Silver is correct.
The metal which don't react with dilute HCl is.
Valid point. Q is true.
What is the electronic configuration of sodium?
Right again. 281 is valid.
The reaction between calcium and oxygen forms. Strong choice. Calcium oxide is right. The most abundant metal in the Earth's crust is. Nicely done. Aluminium is.
Which of the following is ductile and malleable?
Right choice. Aluminum is best. Which metal is known for its high conductivity?
Excellent. Copper is well reasoned. The correct pair of best conductors of heat are.
Nice selection.
Copper and silver is correct.
Name two metals that have very low melting point.
Good thinking. Gallium and cesium is right. Non-metal that is a good insulated of electrical. Well picked. Graphite is correct.
What is the chemical formula of sulfurous acid?
Perfect. H3 is the one.
Red litmus paper turns blue when it is dipped in. You got it? Basic solution fits. Metals are sonorous in nature. What is sonorous?
Nice work. Make sound on beating fits perfectly.
Which of the following will conduct electricity? Right again. Graphite is valid. Which one of the following is not a noble metal?
You're right. Aluminium is correct.
Which of the following will not react with steam?
Sharp thinking. Q is right.
Complete the word equation. Iron plus oxygen goes to.
Smart move. Iron oxide is accurate answer.
The metal that can be easily cut off with a knife.
Well done. High insertion of all is right.
Which one among the following is an acidic oxide?
Strong choice. Toe is right. Which of the following is the most ductile metal?
Exactly. O makes sense.
The only metal that is liquid at room temperature.
Clear logic. Mercury is sound.
The majority of elements in the periodic table are.
Valid point. Metals is true.
Which metal is commonly used in electrical wiring? Smart pick. Copper is correct.
Metals are good conductors of heat. True or false?
Correct. True is spot on. Identify the non-metal that exists in liquid state. Bravo. Bromine is the answer. All of these properties describe metals except dash. Nicely done. Brittle is solid. Which of the following is the best malleable metal? Great job. Gold is accurate. Which of the following metal is not gray in color? Solid response. Copper is valid.
The metal oxides which dissolve in water are called.
You chose alkali, correct. All materials shown property of malleability expect. Well reasoned. Graphite is correct. Which of these metals can be easily cut with a knife? On track, sodium is correct. Which pair of metals do not react with water at all? Great thinking. Gold and lead is right.
The green substance on copper objects refers to dash.
Correct response. Basic copper carbonate is accurate. Identify the metal, which is a poor thermal conductor. Excellent. Lead is well reasoned. Which of these metals is liquid in room temperature? Excellent choice. Hg is right. The non-metal, which is liquid at room temperature, is right choice. Bromine is best. The electronic configuration of sodium is dash. Nice selection. 281 is correct. Which metal starts to float when reacting with water? Good job. Calcium works well. With just 1 G of this metal, 2 km long wire can be drawn. Solid response. Gold is valid. Which one of the following does not react with acids? Great thinking. O is right. Oxides of which of these metals is amphoteric in nature? Well reasoned. Al is correct. What element in air reacts with iron to make iron oxide? Excellent. Oxygen is well reasoned. Which of the following metal does not react with water? Bravo. Lead is the answer. Which of these elements is unlikely to be found native? Good thinking. Aluminium is right. The metals that produce ringing sounds are said to be? Well done. Sonorous is right. The process of coating iron with a thin layer is called? Correct. Galvanization is spot on. Which metal is found in liquid state T room temperature? Oh. Exactly G makes sense. Calhay is coating a layer of dashed over copper or brass. You chose tin? Correct. Non-metal, which is good conductor of heat and electricity. Strong choice. Graphite is right. Which of the following metals will not react with an acid? Excellent choice. O is right. Which of the following metals are more active with water? Clear logic. Sodium and potassium is sound. Name the gas liberated when an acid reacts with metal dash. Smart pick. Hydrogen is correct. Which one of the following gas burns with the pop sound? You're right. Hydrogen is correct. Which of the following can be used for cathodic protection?
You got it? Alphits.
The following factors play vital role in corrosion process.
Right choice. Both and is best. In the reactivity series, which metal is the most reactive? Nicely done. Cesium is. Metal which gives hydrogen gas on reaction with nitric acid. Correct response. Magnesium is accurate. Which of the following metal has the highest melting point?
Nice selection. Tungsten is correct.
Identify the correct group of soft metals from the following.
Nice work. Sodium, potassium, and lithium fits perfectly. Carbonate ores are first dashed and converted into oxide ores.
Sharp thinking. Calcinated is right. Metals are used in making musical instruments because they are
Right again. Sonorous is valid.
Which of the following is the physical property of non-metal?
Good job. Soft works well.
Which non-metal is present in the reactivity series of metals?
On track. Hydrogen is correct.
The ability of metals to be drawn into thin wires is known as.
Smart move. Ductility is accurate answer.
The approximate number of elements we know about today is dash.
Well picked. 118 is correct. Elements do not react with oxygen even at high temperature are.
Valid point. Gold and silver is true. Which of the following metals catch fire on reaction with air? Great job. Potassium is accurate. Which of the following is not a characteristic of most metals?
Perfect. Brittle is the one.
Rusting is a special term given to the corrosion metal is dash. Good job. Phi works well. Identify the metal which reacts with water at room temperature. You got it. Nafits. Metals except Al and Zn react with oxygen to form dash oxides. Bravo. Basic is the answer. Where are the non-metallic elements found in the periodic table? Well reasoned. On the right-hand side is correct. Metals create dash ions because they give away electrons.
Clear logic. Positive is sound.
All of the following would classify an element as a metal except. Good thinking. Dull is right.
If a material can easily be drawn into the shape of a wire, it is.
Sharp thinking. Dukes is right. Metals can be beaten into thin sheets. Which property does it show?
Great job. Malleability is accurate. The correct decreasing order of reactivity of Al, Eg, Zen, and Phi is. Excellent choice. Mungel-Zna, Phi is right.
Rock salt is an ore of one of the following metals. This metal is.
Nicely done. And is solid.
Select the metal which exists in liquid state at room temperature.
Well picked. Mercury is correct.
As one moves top to down in a periodic table, metallic nature dash. Correct. Increases is spot on.
Which of the following metal is hard and cannot be cutted by knife?
Solid response. Calcium is valid.
The correct pair of the metals that do not react with water is diash. Smart pick. Gold, silver is correct. The type of bond that formed between chlorine and potassium is dash.
Nice work. Ionic bond fits perfectly.
The property of metal by which it can be drawn into wires is called.
Nice selection. Ductility is correct. Which of the following non-metal is a good conductor of electricity? You chose graphite. Correct.
Metals that react quickly, strongly with water and acids are called.
Great thinking. Reactive is right.
Which metal produces most vigorous reaction when reacts with oxygen?
Strong choice. Potassium is right.
Which of the following metal is generally extracted by electrolysis?
Valid point. Al is true.
Metals can be drawn into thin wires. This property is known as being
perfect. Dukes is the one.
The metal that is used for making the filaments of electric bulbs is.
Correct response. Tungsten is accurate.
Which of the following would have the least electrical conductivity?
Excellent. Oxygen is well reasoned.
Aqua regia consists of hydrochloric acid and nitric acid in the ratio.
Right choice. 3-1 is best.
Which elements are found on the left to middle of the periodic table?
You're right. Metals is correct.
Reduction using carbon will be not a suitable method for extraction of.
Right again. Al is valid.
Which of the following metals is used for making foil to pack foodstuff?
On track. Aluminium is correct.
The metal which is used as an electric conductor in the filament of bulbs.
Smart move. Tungsten is accurate answer.
In general, anodizing is a process of forming a thick oxide layer of dash.
Well done. Aluminium is right.
Which one of the following metal reacts vigorously with oxygen and water?
Exactly. Sodium makes sense.
Non-metals are insulators. This means electricity dash flow through them.
Excellent. Cannot is well reasoned.
Which of the following non-metal solution is used as antiseptic on wounds?
Well reasoned. Iodine is correct.
The composition of aqua regia is concentrated HCl. Concentrated NO3 is 3,1.
Well picked. True is correct.
The atomic number of an element, X, is 12. Which inert gas is nearest to X?
Good job. It works well.
Which type of elements are used in computer chips, lasers, and transistors?
You chose metalloids. Correct.
Which of the following pair of metals exist in their native state in nature?
Great job. Au and Ag is accurate.
Of these, the metals which occur in free state as well as combined state are.
Excellent choice. With Ag is right.
Which is the most reactive element?
Valid point. Cesium is true.
Which of the following alloys contains a non-metal as one of its constituents? So.
Bravo, steel is the answer.
If you have a material that can conduct electricity well, it is probably a dash.
On track. Metal is correct.
Which one of the following metals do not react with cold as well as hot water?
Well done. Phi is right.
The property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets is called EL.
Nice work. Malleability fits perfectly.
Iron is a good conductor, malleable and magnetic. What type of element is iron?
Clear logic. Metal is sound.
Which of the among the following metals will react with oxygen very violently?
Right again. Sodium is valid.
If an element has 3 valence electrons, what charge will likely form on its ion?
Smart pick. +3 is correct.
Due to its semiconductor properties, the non-metal used in computer, TV etc., is
Correct. Silicon is spot on.
what property of metals means that heat and electricity can move easily through?
Smart move. Conductor is accurate answer.
Which of the following metal is highly reactive when exposed to oxygen and water? You're right. Sodium is correct. Which of the following metals will react only with steam to form its metal oxide? Great thinking. All the options is right. Which of the following are not ionic compounds? Catholic C4 now. Correct response and is accurate. Sodium is very reactive metal because it reacts vigorously with oxygen and water and. Nice selection. All of the above is correct. Which of the following is the only metal that exists as a liquid at room temperature? Sharp thinking. Mercury is right. Which of these grouping of elements could have the characteristic of luster? You got it. Both metals and metalloids fits. The metal that will release hydrogen gas on reacting with dilute nitric acid will be. Exactly. Magnesium makes sense. Metals are known as dash elements because they can form dash ions by losing electrons. Perfect. Electropositive. Positive is the one. Arrange the metals copper, zinc, and iron in their increasing order of their reactivity. Solid response. Copper, iron, zinc is valid. Which of the following non-metal is lustrous? A. Sulfur, B. Oxygen, C. Nitrogen, D. Iodine. Nicely done. Iodine is solid. Which element category could have the characteristic of brittle? Choose the best answer. Strong choice. Metalloid and non-metal is right. Among these, which metal has the highest density but the lowest melting and boiling point? Right choice. Mercury is best. Although metals form basic oxides, which of the following metals form an amphoteric oxide? Good thinking. Al is right. The impurities present in the ore are called Gang solution. Well picked. True is correct. Which of the following metals float on water when they react with water? A. Cubi, C as in DE. Right choice. B and D is best. Which of the following metals exist in their native state in nature? Q. Oxygenage. On track and is correct. An electrolytic process for producing thick oxide coatings, usually on aluminium and its alloys. Good thinking. Anodizing is right. If a student observes a silvery solid that is malleable, good conductor, and ductile, it is a dash. Nicely done. Metal is solid. Aluminum can be hammered into different shapes or rolled into flat sheets. This means aluminum is. Well done. Malleable is right. When Go is dissolved in water, Mz2 is obtained. The solution thus obtained is dash in nature.
Sharp thinking? Alkaline is right.
A reagent called royal water contains hydrochloric acid and nitric acid respectively in the ratio.
Solid response. 1-3 is valid.
Which of the following oxide of iron would be obtained on prolonged reaction of iron with steam?
Smart mover Fee4 is accurate answer.
The strong force of attraction between the positive and negative ions of ionic compounds shows there.
Well reasoned. Hardness is correct.
The number of protons in an atom of an element A is 19, then the number of electron in its ion plus is.
Excellent. 18 is well reasoned.
The correct sequence of the given metals, according to the descending order of their reactivity, is dash.
Bravo. K.R. Fewith is the answer.
Which of the following pairs of compounds undergo displacement reaction when they react with each other?
Valid point. Q and AgNO3 solution is true.
Which property of metals is used for making betals and strings of musical instruments like sitar and violin? 1.
You're right. Sonorosity is correct.
Silicon is a semiconductor and has properties of both metals and nonmetals. What type of element is silicon?
Good job. Metalloid works well.
A chemical bond resulting from the electrostatic attraction between positive and negative ions is called a.
Correct ionic bond is spot on.
Which one of the following 4 metals would be displaced from the solution of its salts by other 3 metals?
You got it? Agfits?
Identify the diagram.
Clear logic. Magnetic separation is sound.
Generally, nonmetals are not conductors of electricity. Which of the following is a good conductor of electricity?
Correct response. Graphite is accurate.
Choose the correct option.
Perfect. Parstradal is the one.
Almost all metals are very hard, and non-metals are not very hard. Which following pair is an exception to this statement?
You chose sodium and diamond. Correct.
Which of the following metals are obtained by electrolysis of their chlorides in molten state? Nakafiku.
Right again. And is valid?
This picture illustrates coppers.
Smart pick. Ductility is correct.
The only metal to occur in liquid form. Exactly.
Mercury makes sense.
Which of the given choices correctly shows the 3 main groups of elements listed from least conductivity to greatest conductivity?
Nice selection. Non-metals, metalloids, metals is correct.
Which is the hardest material present on Earth?
Nice work. Diamond fits perfectly.
Metals are refined by using different methods. Which of the following metals are refined by electrolytic refining? Oku-K.
Great job. And is accurate.
Which color identifies as the group nonmetals?
Great thinking. Yellow is right.
When sodium reacts with water, it produces dash.
Strong choice. Hydrogen is right.
The handle in this picture is covered in a dash.
Excellent choice. Non-metal is right.
A type of rock that contains minerals and metals.
strong choice. Ore is right.
Which of the following is the most reactive metal? On track, potassium is correct. Metals generally react with dilute acids to produce hydrogen gas. Which one of the following metals does not react with dilute hydrochloric acid?
Right choice. Copper is best. When an object changes shape when struck by a hammer.
Perfect. Malleable is the one. The property of metals used for making temple bell is? Correct response. Sonority is accurate.
Alloys are homogeneous mixtures of a metal with a metal or non-metal. Which among the following alloys contain non-metal as one of its constituents?
Correct. Steel is spot on. Aqua regia is a freshly prepared mixture of concentrated hydrochloric acid and concentrated nitric acid in the ratio of dash. Right again, one is valid. A metal reacts with acid to produce salt and hydrogen gas. The same metal reacts with a base to again produce salt and hydrogen gas. What is that metal?
Bravo! Zinc is the answer.
Identify the given metal which melts on the palm of our hand. Good thinking. Gallium is right. Which element is least likely to conduct heat and electricity? You chose O. Correct.
Where are the non-metallic elements found in the periodic table?
Solid response. On the right-hand side is valid.
Non-metals come in only a few colors and are mostly silver-gray.
Excellent choice. Faust is right. The atomic numbers of 4 elements of B, C, and D are 6, 8, 10, and 12 respectively. The 2 elements which can react to form ionic bonds are. Great thinking. B and D is right. Name the non-metal used in the given materials shown in the picture. Valid point. Sulfur is true. A student is examining the physical properties of a sample. The sample is malleable, but does not conduct electricity nor have luster. This sample would be a dash. Well reasoned. Metalloid is correct. Pots and pans are made of metals. Metals are dash conductors of heat. Smart pick. Good is correct. Which of the following metal is used as flares and camera flashbulbs? You got it? Magnesium fits. At room temperature, a non-metal, such as oxygen, can be invisible. Good job. True works well. Complete the following reaction and find the correct option from the following. Clear logic. No reaction is sound. The electronic configuration of element X is 281 and the electronic configuration of element Y is 287. Then the type of bond formed between these 2 elements is dash. Nice selection. Ionic bond is correct. Observe the following stages of extraction of a metal from its ore. Sulfide ore, dash, to reduction dash, purification. The process that has to be done in the empty space is dash. You're right. Roasting is correct. By looking at the element illustrated here, how might you classify it by appearance? Exactly. Non-metal makes sense. An element A is soft and can be cut with a knife. This is very reactive to air and cannot be kept in open. It reacts vigorously with water. Identify the element from the following. Great job, and is accurate. Which of the following is used to make the international standards of weight and measures?
Nicely done. Platinum is solid. John was observing the physical properties of elements in order to classify them as either a metal, nonmetal, or metalloid. The first element was dull, brittle, and did not conduct heat. What would its classification be? Excellent. Parcital is well reasoned. Aluminium is used for making cooking utensils. Which of the following properties of aluminium are responsible for the same? Good thermal conductivity, good electrical conductivity, C, ductility, high melting point. Sharp thinking. 8 and D is right. What happens when calcium is treated with water? It does not react with water. It reacts violently with water. It reacts less violently with water. Bubbles of hydrogen gas stick to the surface of calcium. Smart move, and is accurate answer. An alloy reacted with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce a gas, which pops a lighted splint. The residue reacted with dilute nitric acid to form a blue solution. Which one of the following pairs of metals is present in the alloy? Well done. Copper and magnesium is right. An unknown substance is colorless and has a very low density. This unknown substance could be which of the following elements form the table? Nice work. Hydrogen fits perfectly. Use the table. An unknown substance is a semiconductor and is very brittle. This unknown substance could be which of the following elements from the table? Well picked. Boron is correct. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format. Well done. Contact Narayan Changda on Facebook is right.